Hey Blazers, this episode is brought to you by Audible.com, an Amazon company. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/Blaze Entertainment or visit the sponsor and supporters links on our website at entertheblaze.com. With over 180,000 titles to choose from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now, let's start the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's start the party.
We get it from my mama.
Station on the planet.
Yeah. I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin. You bet. We got melanin. Melanin. I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin. You bet. We got melanin. Melanin. And we got some fat ass too.
What's going on, Blazers? We are back with another episode of Blaze Entertainment. I'm your host, Kwame, joined by the beautiful, the melanin proficient, the queen of Blaze, the gorgeous, the talented, the amazing Miss Free.
Hey y'all.
What's up, girl? How are you?
I'm tired.
Yes.
I'm really tired. And I just want to go to sleep.
I understand. I'm there. I feel you. But we're almost done with the week.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a short week, thank God.
Yes. God is good. Won't he do it? So, do we have any shout outs?
No.
Okay. Well,
my only shout out goes to Ryan Coogler.
I mean, duh. We're gonna get there. And speaking of Ryan Coogler,
for making how much? 30
no
300
no more.
85 404 something.
Yeah, over
crazy.
$400 million
in the first weekend.
In the first week
for
of
Black Panther.
Yes.
So that's the only shout out I have today.
I mean, that's really only that matters at this point.
That's it.
But I also want to shout out no, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, this episode is going to be our review, and
it might be a little short.
It might be, yeah, it would definitely be a lot shorter, because it's going to be strictly about Black Panther, because Wakanda forever.
Yes, and if you haven't seen it by now, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh well.
We were going to do a review last week when we saw it on opening night, but we thought, well, Miss Free thought that would be a better idea to save it, so that way everybody had a chance to see it. So.
And if you haven't seen it already, then
I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, the fuck well.
We've already seen it. Well, you've seen it twice. Yeah. Yes.
You saw it twice too.
I thought I saw it 3 times. No, I gave my third ticket away to. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I was trying to bless people. So, because Wakanda. Yeah. So let's just get into it. What did you think, Miss Free?
10 out of 10. So good.
It was amazing. It was everything that was needed. Like, out of a Marvel movie, out of a Black movie, out of just everything. It was literally the best movie ever. I've seen in a while. Yeah.
Just made me want to go back and watch Civil War just to see Black Panther.
Right. Not even watch the whole thing. Just
still rewind to the parts where T'Challa's in it.
Right.
That's it. And then be done with it.
Right. I think we should do that tonight. Anyway.
No, I'm going to bed.
But anyway, yes, Miss Free, your energy is you're so done with life.
I am tired. What happened? Like, where should we start? At the beginning?
I think we should. I think we should start at the beginning. So okay, first off, shout out to all the people who came dressed up.
Yes.
Looking just
amazing.
Black excellence.
And your African prints, and your hair wraps, and your dashiki.
Amazingness.
It was amazing.
It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, seeing everyone all dressed up.
Yes.
It was really nice.
Yes.
And fuck all y'all niggas who say the Black people are doing extra. Y'all niggas were doing extra when Hogwarts was out.
Coming in robes.
Coming in with wands and glasses and robes and shit. So you can shut the fuck up, sir. Sit down.
and be humble
and be quiet. Let us have our moment.
We'll get there, because that's part of my vent. So what are your thoughts on it?
On what?
On the
movie?
show? Yes.
I just told you it was a 10 out of 10. Well, I want to start from the beginning because how did it open? It just kind of opened up with like a little history lesson, and then we see.
It basically started out with the history of Wakanda and how it was like kind of created.
Right. We started in 1992, so we get a glimpse at T'Challa's dad, T'Chaka, entering into the room to visit his brother,
yes.
N'Jaka, I think that's his name. And we learned that his brother was actually stealing vibranium. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way. Vibranium from Wakanda.
Right.
And we see T'Chaka killing him because he tried to attack what's that nigga's name? Forrest Whitaker's character,
yes.
his younger counterpart.
Yes.
So T'Chaka kills him, and then we just see him leave, and then that's it. And then we cut to modern day Black Panther, T'Challa, and basically the movie picks up where T'Chaka dies, right? And then we see Black Panther getting his love of his life from her mission so that she can come see him be crowned king of Wakanda.
Right.
And that's how the first part starts.
Yes.
Your thoughts about that summary?
So like I like the backstory. First of all, this is when I usually fall asleep during movies, like when I go, because there's
what a waste! You're just paying $20 to take a nap,
which is why I don't go all the time. But thank you, Movie Pass. One of the reasons why is because movies tend to have this ebb and flow, and it starts out good and you get all action packed, or it starts out slow and then you get to. There's always this weird ebb and flow with movies, like it's this up and down thing. And what I really liked about this movie, even compared to the other Marvel movies, is that this movie was action packed from beginning to end, like nonstop. And like I felt like there was never a slow point. Like there was always something to learn about what was going on, either about the history of Wakanda, about the cast members, the characters, and it was just really it was really well written and really well done when it comes to the ebbs and flows of a movie. So yes, I enjoyed the beginning of it. What I really liked that I appreciated about this movie, that I liked in Wonder Woman that they did more of in this, is that they highlighted the women. The women were so powerful. It was almost as if at certain points it almost felt like as if they were overshadowing the main character, which is Black Panther.
Well, because the Dora Milaje are some badass bitches.
They are.
With their spears and shit.
Yes.
I knew I was shook at the beginning when they tapped them spears and the lights and shit went off. Then all of a sudden, T'Chaka, that Black Panther nigga, was there. And I was like, wait a minute.
Right.
Because he was like, they're not going to knock again. And that's when I knew.
Right. You better open the door.
That's when I knew. I saw like a Q&A with the cast, and they were like, who would you rather be on a wanted list, the Avengers or the Dora Milaje? And the guys were cracking up. They were like, the Avengers, because the Dora Milaje is gonna find your ass. A black woman is gonna find you.
Yes.
So I thought that was funny because I was like, the Avengers, duh, because the Dora Milaje don't play no games.
Right.
I knew they didn't play no games back in the Civil War when she told Black Widow move or be moved. I said, oh no, you girl.
Yeah.
You better step the fuck back.
Quickly.
That was everything.
Yes.
I just knew they were going to be everything. I fucking knew it.
Who was your favorite character?
It's hard.
Top 3.
I want to say, what was the main character of Dora Milaje, the Denai's character? What was her name? Okoye.
Okoye.
I liked Okoye.
Mm-hmm.
I liked all the women, Nakia and Shruti. They were my top 3.
Yeah.
Because they were some badass bitch. Listen. Because Okoye could kick some ass, and Shruti was just all around smart.
Right.
And Nakia could teach Black Widow a couple of things.
Right.
I loved it.
I out of all of the Dora Milaje, I liked Okoye the most. And then there was something about Shuri that just, she was just so warm, but still like you can tell she was fierce. Like her knowledge and her brain was just something not to be messed with.
It was like Shuri is like very, very, very intelligent without being like
conceited,
a pompous,
right,
dickhead.
Like Tony Stark.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Tony Stark knows he's smart, and he knows he wants everybody to know that he's smart. Where Shuri's like, I don't need to prove to you that I'm smart. Right. Like he has her confidence.
I just created this virtual reality helicopter thing.
Right.
Which was, by the way, that itself was every motherfucking thing. You don't even have to be in the room. She needs to, listen, we need a Shuri in real life because I will never leave my motherfucking house if I can just scoot all over the town without leaving.
When I saw that, I was just like, what are those?
Yeah.
Like, and for people who've seen the movie, you understand why I just did that. But
who were your top 3?
My top 3, I would say, would be T'Chaka. Excuse me, not T'Chaka. T'Challa. Okoye. Oh wait.
I thought, in comparison to the other characters, I thought honestly T'Challa was kind of dry.
Really?
Because the other characters were so dynamic. And that's not to say he's not a good character. No, it's just everyone else was just so like.
Do you think you felt that way because you've already had a taste of who he was in Civil War? So you already understood his character a little bit?
No. Not at all. I liked T'Challa more in Civil War because I didn't know who all these other people were.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, because I feel like.
But now you introduce his family, bitch. Right. You don't look like you ain't shit compared to everybody else in Wakanda.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is my point.
Yeah. Well, like I said, for me personally,
because T'Challa wouldn't be anything without Shuri, to be honest.
Well, I mean, duh.
Okay.
Most black men wouldn't be anything without black women. I mean, let's be honest. But for me personally, T'Challa, I would say Shuri over Okoye if I had to pick one. But Killmonger is a good character. We have to down and dissect him. Yes, I understood him on a spiritual level. He
didn't make my top 3, but he's in my top 5.
Okay, but for me he it would be T'Challa, Shuri, and Killmonger. Yeah, yeah. That was tough.
Why T'Challa is in your top 3? Why?
Because T'Challa went through a very his storyline and how he took control back over Wakanda was very inspirational, and I got it, and so I understood I appreciated that, and I saw his vision of what he wanted Wakanda to be, and then after realizing all the BS that was going on with his family and stuff like that, and what his father did to Killmonger's dad, his vision kind of enhanced and broadened to the entire world. So I really resonated with that.
Do you think T'Challa is your favorite character is because you've been looking forward to this movie for a very long time?
Well, yeah, I've been looking forward to this movie.
Because I just really think T'Challa's dry. In comparison to everybody else, he's just so dry. Everyone else is what makes him.
And that's fine, because it takes a village.
He's I mean...
And that's fine, that's your opinion.
Not to say he's not awesome, and not to say he's not an awesome character. It's just that, everyone else is kind of the driving force behind who he is.
Yeah, but like I said, for me...
I see past that, the people around you, kind of like how celebrities are. The people around you, who you surround yourself with,
is what makes you you.
Right.
And that's what makes them more interesting because they created who you are. Does that make sense?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say they created
Celebrity,
who he was.
you need a team.
Well, yeah.
You need an image. And his team, T'Challa's team, is what kind of made him who he is. And that's why I find as other people more interesting.
Okay, that's fine. What I'm saying, for me personally, T'Challa is one of my favorite characters.
Hell, I would have picked Killmonger over T'Challa.
Well, hey, like I said, you asked me what my opinion was, and my opinion is T'Challa.
I'm just interested as to why. Because everyone else is so dynamic.
Well, if you let me finish, like T'Challa's character, and yes, you know, it does have a lot to do with me knowing his original history and growing up and knowing and reading his comics and stuff like that. So I have a deeper understanding of what T'Challa and Black Panther is a little bit. But regardless, I think that they did a great job at representing each of those characters. And yes, I agree. Like, it does take a team to, like, Beyonce wouldn't be Beyonce without her team. You know what I'm saying? Right. Beyonce wouldn't be Beyonce without Destiny's Child, you know, who she is today. And so, like, it does take, like I said, it does take a village to create that, which is hence Wakanda. You know, I think the movie was less about Black Panther and more about Wakanda as a whole, in my opinion. Okay. And I think that that's what made the movie greater. Because, like, if you look at like other Marvel movies like Thor or Iron Man, it was so heavily focused on them, and so heavily focused on those individual characters. Whereas Black Panther, even though it was called Black Panther, it was about Wakanda and the vision of Wakanda and what Wakanda, you know, represents. And so it does take a village. It does take so much. And I think that that's one of the reasons why people resonated with so much and why it did so well in you know, in the box offices and in terms of, you know, ticket sales and stuff like that, because it was not just about Black Panther. But for me personally, I just thought it was overall well fucking done. Like, it was just well done. Let's talk about the sub characters or the secondary cast for a second. I really found Zuri, who is the priest.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, Zuri. I really found his character very interesting. And the reason why is because he not only represented a kind of a secondary father figure and guide for T'Challa, but he also represented like this, his level of loyalty was on a whole nother level. Like even you know, even when T'Challa was asking him, you know, what was going on, you know, what was behind, you know, his father and his uncle, that issue, he hesitated because he still made a promise to T'Chaka. And I just found that really interesting. And then also his level of dedication to T'Chaka, he in the end even broke, you know, the rules, you know, when Killmonger and T'Challa were fighting, and stepped in to try to save T'Chaka or T'Challa. So I don't know, like, what did you think of like the secondary characters? I really enjoyed Zuri's storyline, and even is it M'Baku or M'Baku.
Yeah,
M'Baku.
I liked him.
I really liked him.
I was like, is he like barking? Like, what does he do? Like, I didn't know what it was. It confused me at first, but I got it because it's supposed to be a gorilla.
Right.
So, yeah. I liked him.
I really enjoyed his character.
I think he was more dynamic than, what's his face? Zuri? I thought he was more dynamic than he was. Only because he was this kind of looming presence in Wakanda that is up in the mountains and only shows up when they want to challenge the king. And I thought it was very interesting, like in the movie, when he was like, "You're the first king that ever has come over on this side of town." You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck? Like, I thought that was interesting. Like, why is that? Because it almost made it seem like M'Baku's village or his clan or whatever,
his tribe,
his tribe was almost in direct opposition was like the next big family to Black Panther. Does that make sense? Because there was no other village or tribe that had like a figure of an animal. I mean, you had like, what was the other character with the cape, with the blue cape? I mean, you had him as a rhino, but there was another. It didn't feel like those families were challenging Black Panther's family as much as the Gorilla King was. And
the reason why that was is because all the tribes fell under Black Panther, because Black Panther was if you knew the backstory of it, the first Black Panther was the one that united Wakanda, and so that's when they kind of fell under Bast, which was their kind of god. And so like they fell under Black Panther after, because of essentially the original Black Panther united all of Wakanda.
What happened to them? Because they weren't that united, to be honest with you.
What are you talking about?
The Gorilla King.
Well, they what I mean by united, they all accepted them as king. Obviously, you're gonna have, you know, challengers and issues or whatever, just like you have in the United States. You have,
No, not necessarily, because what that movie seemed like, history aside, made it seem almost as if that clan or village, while it was like I'm accepting this because everyone else is, not because we want to.
Right. And
it was like, we're going to exile ourselves so that we're over here rather than over, under you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They were all to themselves. To be honest, if M'Baku wasn't there, Killmonger would still be sitting on that throne.
True, but I think the thing is that when it came to the separation, the individual clans, they also had their own traditions and things and way of life. They just fell under kind of like a united government by accepting that the Black Panther was king.
Right. Because if you notice, like in the beginning scene when he was first doing his little challenge or whatever. They were absent from the whole thing until the very end of it. Right.
Because if you notice, if you remember, when they were talking about it, M'Baku was talking about how they didn't want to be a part of, the technology, and all that stuff, and they were traditionalists. And so if you look at history and just in real life, a lot of different cultures have kind of separated from cultures that have grown in terms of or technologically advanced, and so the issue that M'Baku's tribe had was the fact that Wakanda was becoming more technologically advanced and they weren't sticking to tradition, and so they felt that traditions were more important as opposed to just science and things of that nature. So I mean that's normal. I mean you have like that here when you have like what is it what do you call those? Oh God, there's a lot of them in Philadelphia where they don't believe in technology, and Amish. Like you have Amish people that just stay away from technology. They don't have they still live as without any type of telephones or anything like that. They still live as if they're in the 16th century. So, but yeah, I mean that to me wasn't shocking to me because each of the clans have their own individual traditions. I thought what was really cool was that regardless, and I think that a lot of countries, to include ours, could take note to this, is that even when at the end M'Baku, even though he wanted to be king of Wakanda, he still put Wakanda first by helping T'Challa, and I thought that was really interesting because he could have easily just said fuck this, you know what I'm saying? Even though, and I think that he kind of looked at it as like, do I want T'Challa or do I want Killmonger as king? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's going to be a bigger threat? And I think that regardless, T'Challa's going to still be a threat to him because he still has that technological advances.
I think he just preferred T'Challa over Killmonger because Killmonger was technically a quote unquote outsider.
Yeah.
And if what you're saying is true, then and he's a traditionalist, he wouldn't want an outsider
exactly
any fucking way.
Exactly. Because they don't know, because regardless, T'Challa still understands the traditions of Wakanda because he was born and raised in Wakanda. So Killmonger wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Killmonger, do we want to go there yet, or do we want to talk about other things?
I don't care. We can go there.
What are your thoughts on Killmonger and his character?
I couldn't hate Killmonger.
Right.
He was one of those villains that you can't hate,
in
a sense. Like, he was more relatable. And usually I like villains in general because I think they're more interesting than the main character. And point in case, Killmonger was more interesting of a character than T'Challa was. Only because of his plight, and his plight was more identifiable to what African Americans have to grapple with in general. The feeling like of abandonment, the feeling of helplessness. You know, like, his character kind of had all those things wrapped in one, and then wrapped in a bow was rage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Killmonger provided an outlook to T'Challa that he wouldn't have had otherwise if Killmonger didn't exist. Because let's be honest, T'Challa was an isolationist, just like everybody else in Wakanda, until he found out who Killmonger was and what his plight was. Because Killmonger was all about, like, the liberation of Black people as a whole, not just Wakandans or African Americans. He wanted to fight the good fight for Black people that look like him and other people of Wakanda as a whole. Because let's think about it. Wakanda, if you think about, Wakanda's a fictional place, right? But if you replace Wakanda with Africa in general and what Africa could have been, then it's almost like, you know, Killmonger felt like his parents abandoned him. His people abandoned him. So he was angry in that fact. And he has every right to be. Unfortunately, with African Americans, there is still that feeling of, like, not necessarily abandonment, because we weren't abandoned, we were stolen. And Wakanda, unfortunately, doesn't fucking exist. So there is no, like, magical being that can come and save us. There really isn't. But I think that Killmonger provided a good contrast between African Americans and Africans. Because oftentimes you will find that Africans think of African Americans much differently. As it was said in the movie. I mean, it wasn't outright, but it was kind of like they're outsiders.
The undertones were there,
They're why would we help them when we could help, you know, it's just us. You know, it's like us versus them, but we're the same people. We were just taken from where we were supposed to be.
Or given away,
taken, stolen, whatever you want to say. It's debatable. You know? I like Killmonger. Honestly, I get him. I understand him. I understand his anger. I understand his rage. The only part where I disagreed with Killmonger and where I agreed with T'Challa was not becoming the same as the colonizer.
Right.
And where I disagreed with T'Challa was that he wasn't doing enough. At the same time.
A lot of people, there was an article that I saw floating around social media that, and not even an article, just people were also comparing the story of T'Challa and Killmonger to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And I found that interesting because...
well, that's only because Killmonger is an extremist.
Well, yeah. But I also found that interesting because at the same time, I didn't see Malcolm X as this, like, you know, we're going to destroy and take over everyone. You know, it was more of a we need to liberate ourselves type situation, and by any means necessary. You know, as opposed to what Killmonger was saying was like, you know, we're gonna enslave them. You know, and I don't know how I would feel about that, just because, like, I just feel like, at the end of the day, yes, I don't. I want white people to understand, what their ancestors did to us and what is currently still happening at this moment. But I don't know if I would want to become their ancestors. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Whose ancestors? White people?
Yeah. I don't know if I would want to become the oppressor.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
No, because, listen, if black people wanted to burn this country down, they would have a long fucking time ago. Let's be honest. Let's be real fucking honest. Not now, but I'm saying like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Black people don't want to oppress white people, and I think that's where white people miss the fucking point.
Right, yeah. All the time.
We just want to be equal.
Mm-hmm. And treat it that way, and not have systems to break us down and keep us down.
Exactly.
So, but
that's besides the point.
I must agree with you. I did not. There wasn't a. Besides the fact that it was Michael B. Jordan, he's just sexy. It was very difficult for me to, kind of root against Killmonger at the same time. Like I was just kind of like, I want T'Challa to win. But I wouldn't be mad if Killmonger won.
Killmonger was just a little bit extra.
He was.
Like, he was just a little bit extra. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now, if Killmonger was like, this what we gonna do. We gonna go take our people by any means necessary and bring them back here and leave them fuckers alone to themselves, then I would have been all for it. But he wanted to take one step further, which was to kind of conquer the world.
Which I really appreciated at the end. And I kind of like, it made me feel like, wow, like I wish this could actually happen. But it made me at the end when because I felt like T'Challa at the end brought a balance of Killmonger's plan and what he wants for Wakanda with everyone. You know what I'm saying? By starting to give, access to and I believe he specifically said it at the end to the United Nations Council that it would be for his people first.
I don't think he said that. I didn't hear that at all.
I'm pretty sure, but we can look that up.
Google it, the speech. But I didn't hear that at all. It sounded like he wanted to, because where I disagree with what T'Challa was towards the end was him wanting to share the resources with everybody else. That was my issue. And where I kind of agree with Killmonger. Because I felt I'm more leaning on the side of Killmonger. However, I don't want to take it a step further as to colonize everybody. That's just a little extra. However, at the same time, I disagree with T'Challa in that I didn't hear him say for his people first. I heard him say he wanted to share his resources with everyone as one. And that's where I disagree. That's where I draw the motherfucking line in the sand. Because I don't think that you should at the same time. I want Wakanda to share its resources with people that look like him, like what Killmonger said. I don't want them to share the resources with the world. The world doesn't need the resources. You know what I'm saying? We don't need everybody dipping in our sauce. We don't need that shit. Why would we share something when they never shared with us?
I'm not arguing with you. I agree.
That's what makes me irritated with T'Challa in that sense, because it's like, it's almost like, I feel like me in general is almost leaning to the side of Malcolm X, which is why I'm like more leaning over to Killmonger's side at the same time, because why would we do that? Why would we do that at all? Why would we help somebody who called us grief for so fucking long?
Right.
Why would we do that? But let's get our shit together first and think about how we're not going to let them take our shit gradually. Because as you know, that's what they did to Africa.
Right. And
that's how we got into the mess in the first place.
Right. And I think that with one of the things and one of the issues that I had with T'Challa's character was the fact that he didn't experience that. He's never experienced oppression.
Right, which is why that's why I didn't want Killmonger to die. Because let's be honest, Wakanda needs a Killmonger to protect it. Well, at the same time, I feel like
M'Baku is their Killmonger.
No, he's not. He does, like you said, M'Baku is not from where Killmonger is from.
Mm-hmm.
Killmonger had a very valid point. He understands how they work.
Mm-hmm.
And then in order to, if you want to share your resources with the world, you also need to know why you're sharing it and who you're sharing it with, which is what Killmonger was for. That's why I didn't want Killmonger to die. I didn't want him to be all fucking crazy and shit. You know, I didn't want him to die either, because you needed someone like Killmonger to understand the tactics and what that was in order to protect what Wakanda was at the same time, if that makes any sense at all.
And I don't feel like they're going to be shared. I mean, you never know. I don't know what's going to happen in Black Panther 2.
I just think sometimes Black people can be a little too giving.
Duh. Like...
That's why I was just like, what the fuck? T'Challa.
But I think that at the end of the day, like, you know, there needs to be an accountability for what's happened and also what's currently going on. And I don't think that's happening. Like, I feel like that's the Disney Marvel spin on,
let's share everything, let's be one.
Yeah, I feel like
I feel
like that's a Disney Marvel spin on things to try to make, you know, everything all peace, love, and chicken grease, and that's not reality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's a nice thought. It would be great.
It's a nice thought if we could share. That's how we fucking got here in the first place. Right. We shared too much.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's be honest. Black people shared way too fucking much. And then got took advantage of. So you needed a Killmonger to understand that dynamic.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. And then that's not to say that T'Challa doesn't. I mean, I don't fucking know. You know, like, I don't know what his whole thing is. But if he's an isolationist, like everybody else in Wakanda, then he doesn't know that dynamic because they've been in isolation so fucking long. The only other person that seemed to understand that was Killmonger's father, is because he spent time in America.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about was a part in the movie that a lot of people, I think there was an article done on it, a part of the movie that people were kind of missing. And it was when T'Challa had his or won the first fight against M'Baku, and he took the elixir to regain his power, and he went to that kind of like that spiritual realm, and he saw his father and the other previous Panthers, and he kneeled to his father, and he said, "Stand up, you're a king." And that was really relevant because, like, I feel like there's this, for so long, there's this, and I think people are starting to especially in this whole, you know, kind of new awareness and wokeness that's going on with the Black community, that's going on, and people are starting to see that a little more. But I think overall, it's been really difficult for our culture to see us as royalty because we've been oppressed for so long. We've had this, you know, this kind of this Black trauma that's been going on for a long time, and I feel like that was a really pivotal thing to see, and I really, really, really appreciated that was put in there, because it gives the next generation of children, Black kids, to see that.
You got all that from that scene?
I did. The second time I watched it, I was really like watching it.
Oh.
Like the first time I was like, whoa, this is like so much blackness and melanin.
I didn't get that from that scene. I mean, maybe because I looked at the scene in more of a literal sense, more than like figuratively.
But I also was doing research on like, you know, what the director was trying to convey.
Oh, okay.
Like for instance, in the there was a during the part where Nakia and
it was the Pan-African flag.
Right, it was a Pan, but what was significant about it is also the Dora Milaje is bald for a reason. And so putting something on her head was it wasn't just the fact that, first of all, it was an ugly wig.
It was just, I think they made it terrible on purpose.
It had
like that wig was not laid. It was not cute. It was supposed to make her. It was an uncomfortable wig for everybody. Let's just say that. I wanted her to snatch that thing off. Why do you have that on your head, sis?
Right.
It don't look good.
It was one of the first things that she snatched off when she was ready to throw down.
Right.
So, but one of the things that that they were talking about in that is that because the reason why she was so uncomfortable with it, not just because it was an ugly wig, not just because she doesn't want to wear it, is because it was so disrespectful to the Dora Milaje. And also, you know, because them being bald is significant to their training and their initiation and who they are as warrior women. And
nobody can snatch your hair if you ain't got no hair.
Right. So there's no hair pulling, bitch.
You ain't gonna be pulling this hair. There ain't no hair, bitch.
First of all, you won't even get close to even touch them.
Right.
Okay? Let's start there. But that's one of the reasons why I was looking into those different parts. Even when you know the initiation process of when a Black Panther is created, or quote unquote reborn. They die, like they lose their power. They fight to earn their spot, and they regain their power. Like all of that stuff is really symbolic to what Wakanda was, and also their traditions, and also to what the history of that is. And I just really thought it was really interesting to see how much they incorporated. And because sometimes, like, you can make up a fictional, you know, story, like you know, in Thor, like, you know, oh God, what is the name of the land? Asgard is obviously very fictional. You know what I'm saying? But there was one of the things that I really appreciated, because everybody knows about Asgard, everybody knows about, you know, the Valkyries and all that stuff or whatever. But what was really, really interesting about this movie is that if you watch Thor, the first Thor, unless you knew of the comics, unless you knew of the thing, you didn't really understand the entire scope of what those different, you know, realms meant. You know, who the Valkyrie were, because you only saw one Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok, when there was an entire, you know, fleet of them. You know what I'm saying?
The Valkyrie versus the Dora Milaje. Bitch, that would have been so awesome.
First of all, I don't.
That'd be cool. I just like to imagine how certain characters will react to certain characters, like Shooty and Iron Man. That dynamic will be funny as hell. To be quite honest,
hilarious. I feel like
she's smarter than him.
Yeah, she's 20 times smarter than him, and it's funny because a lot of people didn't know. Everybody thinks that Tony Stark is the richest Marvel character, and it's actually T'Challa, because he has the wealth of Wakanda behind him. He is the king of Wakanda, and so he's, I think, 4 times more wealthier than Tony Stark. On top of that, Shuri, 20 times smarter than him. Like, you saw stuff in Wakanda that Tony Stark couldn't even dream of. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just thought, but going back to what I was saying, just the fact that this movie not only set up a history, they explained where Wakanda came from and how it started, but it created an entire, like, you were taken into Wakanda. You understood, you were part of the entire, that entire space. So even if you've never read a Black Panther comic or didn't know anything about it, you can go into this movie and at the end of the movie understand the Wakanda world and understand the Black Panther storyline, as opposed to you going to watch and never reading a comic before, going to, you know, watch Thor or going to watch Iron Man or any of the other Marvel movies and not really understanding that realm. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciated that, because they really took their time to bring in so many different Afrocentric aspects to it, and I just thought it was amazing. I thought it was brilliantly done. So shout out to you.
I also want to just mention that Wakanda is everything Africa should have been and could be had it was not touched.
Right. Had it not been colonized.
Africa would be a superpower because of its resources.
Right. Right.
At the end of the day, that whole region up there.
Africa would not just be a superpower; it would probably be the superpower.
Right.
Like, and it's funny because I was looking at that. I was looking at where all of the major resources are, things that are imported to the United States and other countries, and
diamonds,
stuff like that.
gold,
all of that,
all that
comes
stuff
from Africa. And it's plentiful, and what's sad is that, they conquered and divided, because had Africa united like they should have united, it would have been a different story.
I think that's a little more easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
Only because Africa is a continent.
Right.
And they have so many different countries.
And tribes. And
languages and stuff. So that's a little easier said than done, is to unite a continent.
But had they not been fucked with?
Right. I mean, you see it now. Like, Asia hasn't been fucked with in the way that Africa has been fucked with.
Right.
Their culture and their language is still intact. I mean, not to say that Africa doesn't have, a culture and a language, but African Americans don't. You see Asians come over and they still have their language and stuff intact. You see, Latinos who have migrated over to America, their language and stuff has been intact. Yes, they've been fucked with in a different way,
right? But
they haven't been fucked with in the same way as
but they're still
Africa.
Connected. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to let's use Latinos or Latin.
That's what I'm saying. Nigga.
Yeah,
their culture and stuff is still intact.
Right.
It hasn't been fucked with. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that their culture is not intact. I'm saying that they're still connected to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to African Americans are not connected to Africa.
Well, that's what I'm saying, nigga. It's intact. They can go back to Mexico and know where they came from in Mexico. What city? They can go down to what maybe little village they came from.
Yeah.
Black people, we've been so fucked with, we don't know what part of what country in Africa we're from. You know what I'm saying? Like a Latino person, they can say, well, my mom's from El Salvador and my dad's from Guadalajara. I mean, wherever, Mexico. A black person can't say my dad's Nigerian and my mom's from South Africa. We can't say that because, to be honest, we don't know unless they migrated from Africa and came over. But black people who are from America don't know that at all. Yeah, we can take a DNA test and be like, we're from this region, but we wouldn't know what country we're from, what language we spoke. You know what I'm saying? It's just not there.
Right. And we've essentially developed our own subculture.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. That's a whole different discussion. But black people just don't have that same connection to African Americans. Don't have that same connection to Africa because we don't know what part of Africa we're from. I guarantee you, if I knew exactly what country I'm from or what language I'm supposed to speak, bitch, I would be there trying to learn the fucking language and the culture because that's what I want.
Right. That's where you're from. Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, let's take a quick break. We'll be back. We got to pay some bills. BRB. This episode is brought to you by one of our new sponsors, We Buy Black. We Buy Black is an online marketplace for Black-owned businesses to showcase and sell their products to a global community. What drives We Buy Black is a community of creative entrepreneurs who use We Buy Black to sell their products. Thousands of shoppers who believe supporting these entrepreneurs to affect social change, and the committed staff of We Buy Black. Visit www.pyromedianetwork.com for our sponsored direct links. It's time to support Black businesses. Now let's get back to the show.
And we're Black.
Yes, we are.
What are we doing? Kwame's Corner.
No, we're not doing rent sessions yet. We're going back to finishing up what we were talking about. So one of the things I wanted to talk about also is the some of the things that has been coming up in terms of like how this is going to like invigorate Black culture and how this movie has invigorated black culture, and it's kind of like how first of all, representation and all that stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of people didn't really understand the impact that Black Panther was going to have, and they thought people were getting excited because it was just another black movie, and it wasn't. It was not just another black movie. Yeah. It was. People don't understand that when you go and you see a superhero, like, because first of all the other movies that were quote unquote black movies either had to do with slavery, had to do with gangbangers or something negative, to kind of, there was never, and then they were talking about how like Black Panther wasn't the first black superhero. Yes, we know that we had Blank Man. Blank Man? It was in the 90s. It really wasn't important, and that's my point.
Well, I was a kid, so I wouldn't know. I was a baby.
It wasn't, but that's my point. It wasn't even relevant. Nobody wanted to be Blank Man. Okay, and then then they had Meteor Man, which came out a little bit after Blank Man. And then they had Blade, which is the most referenced one. But nobody wanted to be Blade. Like, Blade was fucking dope. I thought Wesley Snipes did a great job being Blade. But I didn't want to be a fucking vampire. Or I thought being a vampire was cool when I was younger. But I mean, at the same time, that's not what mattered. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't about, who wants to be a superhero that can only come out at night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just not, and that nobody else is gonna know what the superhero did. The superhero had nothing to do with the culture. It didn't affect anything. So I feel like yes, there were other superheroes, or black superheroes or whatever, but this superhero mattered because it showed representation in a way that we haven't seen before. And so I saw this meme the other day where it was like a picture of Black Panther and these two kids were pointing at it, and it was a little black girl.
That was a video, not a meme.
No. You're talking about the other. You're talking about the other video, but I saw an actual meme, like a picture of a little black girl and a little black boy that pointed to Dora Milaje and then pointed to Black or T'Challa. And they were like, "That's me," and I love that. And then the video that you're talking about actually was two black kids, young men, that were pointing to T'Challa and Killmonger. And like, "Oh, that's me," or "I'm gonna be that one," or "Who are you?" That's awesome because nobody's ever been able to say that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, "Oh, well, who's gonna be Thor today, or who's gonna be Superman?" The only
black character,
right? I guess I'll be the sidekick. I guess,
right?
And so this is the first movie that if there is a little white kid around, they'll be like, "You can be Ulysses Claw." Yeah, you know what I mean?
You are.
That's who you can be. All right. Who wants to be Dora Milaje? Because we have plenty,
right?
You know what I mean? Who wants to be Killmonger? Like, there's so many to pick from, and I thought that was, and then on top of that, for me personally to see, like, because I eventually I would like to have children, and I would prefer a daughter, and to be able to have my daughter, because first of all, I'm going to have every single Blu-ray that I can, every single Blu-ray that is needed, and if they have something that's even better than Blu-ray, I'm gonna get that. But I want my child to see so much black representation, so much ways where she could identify herself to strong, powerful black women. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be the Dora Milaje or
Princess Tiana.
Or Princess Tiana, or even Ramonda, which was Angela Bassett's character. Can we talk about her regalness?
Just Angela Bassett, period. She's just a queen in her. That I love Angela Bassett. I just love her.
She was just amazing.
She's just an amazing actress.
If anybody questioned if she should have been Storm at this point, There's no
first
no
of all,
question.
she can't be Storm.
Anymore. Yeah, because she's not Ramonda.
Right.
And I think she's quite comfortable with that.
She's T'Challa's mother or stepmother or whatever.
You know, whatever. Yeah. But I mean, there's been like 4,000 different Fantastic Fours, so why not 4,000 different X-Men?
Right.
But you know, but if there's any points where we can question this at this point in time, like Angela Bassett and her role as Ramonda, flawless. Like flawless. She pretty much saved, you know, her and Shuri and all the black woman saved goddamn Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? Like it was amazing.
I mean, per usual.
I mean, duh. But I just thought it was amazing because like I think that we're at a point where this is why people are reaching for this movie so much, why it made so much, you know. Yeah, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I there's so much representation in this movie that it's good a kid can say, I'm going to be this person, you know what I'm saying? Whereas like in other shows, like you said, I guess I gotta be the only black person in the show. Like, there ain't no, like, I don't want to be her. Right. But I mean, I guess since I was the only black person. Whereas here, you have so many different fucking options.
Right.
You could be Nakia. You could be Okoye. You could be Shuri. You could be Ramonda. You could be anybody you fucking want to be a Wakanda bitch. I could just be a civilian walking down the street if I wanted to.
if really though,
that's what I'm gonna be as Halloween. I'm just gonna be a Wakandian.
Right.
That's what I'm gonna be for Halloween.
And nobody's gonna say a damn thing.
And nobody's gonna say a damn thing.
And what's really cool about it is that not only is nobody gonna say a damn thing, but people are actually going to know what you're going to be.
Right.
They're not gonna be like, "Are you from
Africa?
Are you exactly from Africa?" Yeah. No, I'm from Wakanda, bitch.
Understand. Know this.
Learn.
But I also thought it was very interesting that, for the first time, we're seeing a villain who is also black and a hero that is also black.
Yes.
Because oftentimes what you will find in Hollywood is that the villain is always a colored person.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a black person. You know what I'm saying? But oftentimes you will find that the villain is a person of color and the hero is a white person.
Right.
And in this movie, you get the villain is a black person. The hero is a black person. The side character is black people. This person is a black person. So you get so many different, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? You get so many different characters to choose from. And that's why this movie is so important. Unlike the other ones. Because, and the cast is just black. It's just a black ass cast. You only have two, maybe three if you can't count Stan Lee, but he was just a little pop-up. There was only two token white guys.
Which was Ulysses Claw and Stan Lee's character.
No, the CIA agent.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to him.
I'm not counting Stan Lee. Because he was just like
he pops up.
Hey, okay, but you know,
that's what he does.
Yeah.
Like, that's where he's at right now. But I what I liked about Ulysses Claw's character is that he died early.
Me too, which was very surprising. And I'm surprised that I was surprised.
Right.
That says something.
Yes. That part. Because I feel like we always, when we see movies, we're just waiting for the nigga to die. We're just waiting.
Right.
Because it's gonna happen. And it's been like that for so long. It's always been like, oh, the black character's gonna die first.
Legit thought that his character was gonna last to the end. I knew he wasn't gonna maybe carry it through, live to the end, but I didn't think he was gonna die that early. I was like, what? Like
in Civil War, I thought for a second that they were going to kill off Black Panther for a second.
Really?
For a second, because this is what they do. So
I don't think Marvel would introduce a character like Black Panther and just kill him off. That's just a little bit much. I'm just saying.
I would have put it past him.
He was the coolest character in that movie.
He really was, though. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like
everybody else was just a side thing. Everyone was like, "When is Black Panther coming?" But who was that nigga?
Right.
We need to know more about him.
Like, thanks, Spider-Man. You're cute. Whatever. But we're waiting. Yeah. When Black Panther showed up, everybody was like, "Whoa,
who was that?" Right.
Who's this
and then
guy?
To kill him off would have just been a waste of time, to be honest.
Right. So, yes, I think overall. I'm looking forward to more Because there's no way that they can't do a Black Panther 2 at this point in time.
No, of course they're going to do a Black Panther 2. They're going to do a Black Panther 3 because they're going to do a 4, 5, 6 like they've done for all these other fucking ass niggas in this thing.
Right. They have to at least do 3 at a minimum.
Yeah.
At a minimum. Like they can't. You can't do. This is only week 1 of like it coming out, and you've already made damn near close to $500 million.
$500,000.
No, it was 400 and like the worldwide. This movie made over $400 million.
Yes,
over
yes, you're
400,
right. You're correct,
and it's still going up. And so, like, that's almost $500 million that they just made on a fuck ass movie. Like, you have to do it, you know. And I know that everybody in the cast...
And you know Disney is not going to let go of Ryan Coogler. No. You're locked in for life.
He is.
Because you've made us quaint.
Yes.
And this... And like Black Panther has almost set an industry standard now. Mm-hmm. Almost like what Rihanna did with Fenty Beauty.
Yes. Yes. It's been a black ass
time. You know what I'm saying? So like everything now is going to be like, okay, so we got to make sure we got enough black people in these movies. And to make sure that, because honestly, because black coin is very valuable,
right? And what's funny is that a lot. I did not expect this to happen during this administration. To be honest with you, because like I thought that shit was going to like go crazy. And
that's part of the reason why I did so well, too.
Right? Because I think you black people were like, you know what? Let's let the white people.
We just gonna be extra black,
right? We're gonna be extra black. We're gonna mind our black ass business, and we're gonna see what they do. And we have not fucked with them. You can't blame us for your bullshit. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have been sitting here writing movies, making makeup, okay, and creating music, bitch.
Right,
minding our black ass business. Okay, and without your help, so thanks.
Yeah. I also think, you know, Black Panther did so well is because it allowed an opportunity for black people to see themselves in a way that they haven't seen themselves before.
Yeah.
They get to almost kind of see a glimpse of their history.
Right. Right. And
that's why I fell in love with Wakanda. I was like, "Ooh, so that is my people." Even though they're fictional, that is my people because it was based off really real tribes in Africa.
Right.
I'm like, "Oh yes, I know that little lip thing. That's bomb as fuck. That little hair clay. That's bomb as fuck too. That everything was just awesome because bitch. That's why I got hyped. I was like, "Ooh, this is what my people are." Wakanda.
and it gives kids and us, like our culture, a way to embrace, you know, the African culture, our culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Embrace our roots a little more, and it helps us to if we didn't know what those things are in symbolism, even though it is a fictional story, there's symbolism behind it, and if we didn't know what they were, we can now look that up, and it encourages us to look those things up. Like it encouraged me to look up, you know, what the meaning was behind certain things, like what was the director thinking behind this particular scene, or what was he trying to convey in this particular scene, and I'm still dissecting a lot of it, but it just the fact that it's encouraging us to do more, to learn more about ourselves is just amazing. And it also lets Hollywood know, Hollywood and also just, you know, mainstream, you know, theater know that, or the mainstream industry know that the black dollar matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it matters because we've literally, you know, done something that they didn't think was possible.
Right.
Because they've always came out with a black movie, all black cast, all black movie won't work, blah, blah. It'll be another black
Nobody
romance.
wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see it.
Black people could have just saw it by itself and it still would have been successful. Because I would have seen that thing 10 times. I would have made up that in my own coins.
Right. And I found it very interesting, because they didn't I thought Disney was, because Disney took over Marvel, and so I thought Disney was going to sugarcoat things. And for the most part, they did you know, obviously they're not going to, you know, go into like, you know, cussing and, you know, all that stuff, whatever. But I thought it was really interesting how Shuri Shuri was talking to, you know, it's like, you know, saying, you know, stuff like colonizer.
Oh my gosh, you frighten me, colonizer.
Yeah, and just those type of things, and seeing
another broken white boy we can fix.
Right, another broken white boy we can fix, or even when M'Baku was,
you are not allowed to speak.
You're not allowed to speak. You're not allowed to talk. like all of that, like made me think that like. How are these white people that are in the audience going to react? And it was interesting.
They didn't think it was that funny. But of course, black people thought it was funny because it's true.
Right. And what was funny was they couldn't say a fucking word. And I wish they would have. Okay, because
God, you frightened me, colonizer.
Right. I mean, what can you say?
But it would have been almost like a cop-out for them to have such a black-ass African movie without addressing that.
Right. Right.
It would have been like, we're just not going to talk about slavery, so we're just not going to talk about the fact. It would have just been a cop out,
and it would have made Killmonger's character so displaced.
It would have made him look crazy.
It's like he was already a radical. We get it. We have hoteps. We understand. but at that point in time, that for you not to address it,
addressing slavery and if they had never even addressed slavery or the fact that white people colonized Africa or the fact, it would have made no sense.
Right.
At all.
And don't get me wrong. I don't like the root causes of why you have these issues with radicals and hoteps and those who want to embrace and really fight, further and do these extreme things. It comes from a certain place. You know what I'm saying? So it's not coming out of nowhere. It's not the reason why they're feeling this way and why we're feeling this way. And why these things, this anger and rage, this deep rooted rage is coming out. It's not coming from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's coming from a specific issue that I thought was well placed.
Not knowing where you're from.
Right. And not having a sense of belonging.
Exactly.
At the end of the day. Not having a sense of belonging.
Not having a sense of belonging or knowing. Yes, we do know our ancestors are from Africa. But no, we don't know we're from Africa.
We're not connected.
Exactly.
Like, all we know is that we came from that continent.
Right.
Somewhere.
Hopefully Wakanda.
Right.
No, and that's the sad thing. Is that Wakanda is not real. And we have to deal with that.
Right. But what you just said made sense, and it just clicked something in me. And I think that because I saw some people online talking about Wakanda's not real, calm down, and there's a lot of other people saying oh, I'm moving to Wakanda and blah blah, and everybody has this connected #Wakanda forever, and I love it. But that in and of itself gave our culture a sense of belonging in some way, shape, or form. Yes. We know at the end of the damn day.
Wakanda's
we know. We understand.
Just like Hogwarts isn't.
Just like Hogwarts is not real. Okay. We understand that there's not a Ravenclaw. We understand that there's not a Hufflepuff. We understand that there's not a Slytherin or a Gryffindor. Okay. We understand these things. But it united the culture for a second. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see where this momentum is going to go. Because are you going to just unite for the movie and not do anything? And then after the buzz, goes down a little bit, can this momentum go somewhere? You know what I'm saying?
Go where?
I don't know.
Where do you want it to go?
I would like to see our culture unite a lot better. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how we operate with each other and how we unify. If we're gonna be from Wakanda, then fine. You know what I'm saying? Let's act like it. I want to see where after the movie craze goes and people stop seeing it after 15 times in a row, like where's this going to go? You know what I'm saying? What are we going to do as a culture? Because I think it started a conversation, and I'm interested to see how they're going to move forward in it as a culture. So I'm interested. But yes.
I guess.
Yes. But we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with the vent session because we are going to be done.
Hey Blazers, check out one of our sponsors, Atomic Cosmetics. They have an array of colors that go boom and are tested on showgirls and never on animals. With freshly made seasonal skincare products that nourish your face and body, you can't go wrong. There is also a lot of cosmetics for you to choose from, like blushes, contours, foundations, eyeshadows, and more. Find multitudes of colors and palettes. Visit colorsthatgoboom.com and use offer code BLAZEATOMIC.
And we're black.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yes. Melanin.
Wakandians.
Wakanda forever.
And we're going to go ahead with Kwame's Corner.
It's the men's section. I'm going to make this quick as possible. This goes in, and I kind of mentioned it a little while ago. There's been a lot of, not even a lot. It's kind of a minority, but I have seen it.
Seen what? Oh, go ahead.
This little kind of I wouldn't say backlash, but a little bit of resistance to Black Panther, and I knew it was going to come because we can't have anything. Like it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But it really frustrated me to see negativity not only coming from white people, which I expected, but negativity coming from our own. And I get it. Like we throw shade all the time. This is part of our problem. But what's really frustrating is that yes, we understand Wakanda's not real, dumbasses. We're not that stupid. We get it. We understand that there's that Marvel and Disney are owned by white people. We understand that. Mm-hmm. We're not stupid. Right. Okay? But we gotta pick your battles. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, pick your battles. Because at the end of the damn day, this was a great achievement for Black culture, whether you want to admit it or not. This was a huge step towards progression for Black culture in and of itself. And for people to kind of like start knocking it, just really irritated me. It was just like, really, girl?
You have seen that? I haven't seen it.
I've seen it.
I've seen white people talking out the side of their neck, but I ain't seen Black people.
I'm gonna get to them in a quick second, okay? But I just want to make sure I check our people for a second because nobody's gonna check them.
I mean, that's fine.
But I think that when we have our small victories, as small as it may seem, it does create a ripple effect for our generations. And I think we should just look at the bigger picture. Our kids are not going to grow up the way we did, and we can even talk, like, I know that I'm older than you, but you can even say you didn't see a lot of Black representation growing up. You know what I'm saying? No. And for me, even worse. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't be the Little Mermaid.
Right. Exactly. Because
I wasn't white.
Right. Exactly. So
now I could be Okoye.
Right. And then Tiana didn't even come out until
I was a full-grown adult.
Right. So that representation wasn't really, seen. So now our kids, mm-hmm. and then our kids can say, oh, I can see myself on TV. Mm-hmm. Or I can see myself on the big screen. So I think that we need to start looking at these small victories, or quote unquote small, because I personally don't see it as a small victory. I see it as a big victory. I see it as a step in the right direction. Yes, we have a long way to go, but sometimes it's the journey that matters and not just the destination. Mm-hmm. And I really just appreciate where we are right now when it comes to, especially in this highly sensitive racial time and highly charged time. And this fuck ass administration, for us to have these amazing victories when it comes to the beauty industry, and it's starting to change in terms of representation, and Black women and women of color are starting to be represented more. And Fenty Beauty creating a whole new wave of change for Black women to be able to have products and opportunities for them, mm-hmm. And when we're looking at music, there's way more, Black culture in music now, even though it started with us, you know what I'm saying?
That's a whole other discussion that I could argue somebody down about.
Right, but we'll go, that's another fucking podcast. But and even with dance and just representation as a whole, and now seeing it on the big screen and seeing such a phenomenal movie, well represented and beyond our dreams and beyond our thought process, because I did not think it was going to be this black. Like, I thought it was going to be black.
I knew it was going to be lit, but I didn't know it was going to be black.
Right.
Black as hell.
Like,
Soundtrack was black as hell.
Right.
Movie was black as hell. Everything was black as hell.
It was just so black. And
do you think, just sidebar, do you think that the reason why this is happening, like this movement, this kind of acceptance of our blackness is happening, is because of the racial tension now? I think that black people are purposefully more black on, like we're accepting our blackness a lot more now.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like I'm going to be my true black ass self at the end of the day. Because nothing, all this other shit is going on. I think that's what's kind of fueling black people to be more accepting of their blackness, is all this other stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And the reason why I agree with that is because, like, I also, just to add on to it, why I think it's really and it's not just this administration, because this administration was just opened up a cap and revealed to even white people what's going on, because white people have been putting a mask on themselves for a while and putting blinders to what's been really going on that we've already known. But I think, honestly, in my personal opinion, millennials have a lot to do with what's going on right now, because there has been a mental change in what's going on, and you can't, even though our parents did a phenomenal job, and our parents' generation and our parents' generation did a phenomenal job at fighting for what we, for us to even be talking, for even me to be born, and for us to be able to go to schools and to have the opportunities that we have today. I think that millennials have figured out a way to fight back in a different type of capacity, because not everything takes pitchforks and fucking
I think radical yelling could just be in your authentic black self,
right? And being radically you know what I'm saying, and that isn't necessarily black, always black, right? And I feel like this Black Panther and also just millennials and this whole woke movement has developed in a way where it's more about empowering ourselves as opposed to pushing back, because I think we've done a lot, and I've noticed it, because in the past I feel like our parents' generation and our parents' generation was a little closer in terms of unity, in terms of looking out for each other, and it was more of a situation where they had to push back from the to outside forces. Now there's a recognition that, we've gotten so comfortable because our parents' generation and our parents' generation has created this pathway for us to be comfortable, and because in that comfort we thought that, okay, everything's going to be okay, we can go about our business and not worry about stuff and develop things and forget that we still need to stay united. And I think that millennials have recognized that, and has really focused on empowering ourselves, because there's been so much strategically put on us in terms of dark skin is ugly, and the lighter you are, the more closer to whiteness you are, is prettier. You have to constantly put weave in your hair in order to be closer to whiteness or whatever. And not to say that you can't do that, and I'm not saying anything and knocking anybody who does put weave in their hair, but what I'm saying is that the purpose behind that was to bring you closer to whiteness so you can be okay. You know what I'm saying? And so having this empowerment that, you know, where it's, you know, natural hair and understanding and embracing your melanin and being proud to just be black has really taken off in the past couple of years. And I really and I see it constantly growing. And especially when it comes to new innovations in the makeup line, the beauty industry, when it comes to voices in politics, you know, when it comes to youth and black, you know, voices in politics, we're still having a lot of firsts. And that's really scary and sad at the same time, but it's empowering. And I think that, you know, after all of these firsts, we're going to make this a normal. And that's what I'm excited about. And that's what that's why I'm saying that, you know, Black Panther was yes, the first of its kind. He may not have been the first fucking superhero. Yes, we get it. But it's the first of its kind to where it truly represented our culture and truly represented where we came from and our roots. And truly represented what we're going through in this time. And it was relevant. So I really appreciated that, and I thought that it was a huge step for us. And to your point, Ms. Free, I think that we've gotten to a point where we have to do more, yes, but I think we're getting there. We have a lot more to go, but I think as a whole, as a culture, I'm a lot more invigorated, and I'm a lot happy to see the embracing of Black culture, because before it was like, you know, oh, you're Black, that's cute, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Who's not that?
I'm just saying, like, it wasn't as embraced as it is now. You know what I'm saying? In terms of growing up, because of course you had to get closer to whiteness, you had to do this, you had to do that, you have to harm your bodies, you have to do all these things to change yourself. Even in corporate America, you know, I'm starting to see a change in it, because you have to talk a certain way or you have to dress a certain way. And I'm starting to see corporate CEOs with dreads. I'm starting to see Black corporate CEOs with dreads and Black corporate CEOs with, you know, with beards and you know, that are grown and natural hair. And it's just a beautiful thing to see this wave come in, and to see that Black culture, we can still keep our culture intact and still run shit. And be proud. And I think now people are starting to see, and when I say people, I mean white people are starting to see that, you know, starting to see that it's okay for us to be proud of our culture. It doesn't necessarily mean that being Black and proud means that we're anti-white, and that is a huge issue, and was a huge resistance. And at the time, people didn't give a fuck, because you've oppressed us for so fucking long. You know what I'm saying? Why does it fucking matter what you're feeling right now? Calm down. It doesn't affect your privilege. You know, like, colonizer, calm down. You know what I mean? Like, relax, simmer. You know. So and going to my second event, what I was trying to go to, and to wrap this up, calm down, white people. We had 2 whole fucking hours to watch Black Panther. Thank you very much. And we have a whole month that you quote unquote gave us. Okay, let us have it. We're having a Black ass time, okay? And if we want to come in with some drums and congos, bitch, we're going to come in here with drums and congos, bitch. And if we want to come in here with kente cloth and fucking goddamn dashikis and goddamn, you know, African everything, we can and we will and we have and we're doing it. If we want to go ahead and salute each other in the Wakandian way, we're going to do it, because Wakanda forever. You didn't like us. You didn't like Beyonce when she was representing when she did her Super Bowl and she was representing the Black Panther Party. That was a fucking issue. Now we got a whole ass movie that was endorsed by fucking Marvel and Disney, and you still got a fucking ass problem. You know, so I'm gonna need you to sit down, calm your little Caucasian asses down, and you sip your little Starbucks, okay? Starbucks. Okay, have your yoga time, okay? Do your little Pilates, all right? And calm down. Let us have our 2 hours. Because this black ass time is, I'm going to tell you, these 2 hours are going to stretch into a goddamn year because this is not going to be the end of it, bitch. Mm-hmm. You're going to see Wakanda jewelry. I already put in my Amazon list, bitch, a couple of fucking Wakandian items, okay? And I'm ready to order it when I get paid, bitch. Mm-hmm. And I will have it. And I'm going to walk around being black and proud. And that's okay. And I think it's okay for you to embrace your culture. Just because you guys don't have a culture, it's not my problem.
Listen, you know what? I think at the end of the day, white people are going to be mad regardless. If I'm not accepting my culture, you're going to be mad. If I am accepting my culture, you're going to be mad.
Right.
So, bitch, I'm going to be authentically me, authentically black, all the authentically motherfucking time,
all
bitch.
Day.
So,
all
whether
day.
or not you like it, I'm going to do me at the end of the day. If you don't like it, that's your problem.
Right. Bloop. Bloop. And this has been another episode of Blaze Entertainment. Thank you guys so much for listening. Really appreciate you guys' love. Don't forget to check out our website at www.entertheblaze.com. We did not re-listen to letters this week, but we will read them next week because we wanted to make this a black ass time and keep it focused on Black Panther. So if you guys have questions or you guys want to talk about Black Panther with us, go ahead and send in your comments. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Let us know what you thought of this episode and our views on it. I would love to hear you guys about that. You know, no more tuna
tuna
letters.
in and tuna out.
Yes, no more tuna letters.
I know. Yeah, send more of those. Don't tell them not to send those. That's great.
That was hilarious. But yes, definitely go ahead and send us the letters, talk to us, let us know what's going on. And definitely don't forget to listen to our sister podcast, After the Blaze, with Hope Giselle and 50 Shades of Gay. And also, don't forget to check out our mother network by going to www.pyromedianetwork.com. Yeah, I think that's it. Miss Free, you got anything else?
No, I'm tired.
All right, it's been a black ass time. Miss Free's gonna go take a nap. I'm gonna go take a nap. And yes.
Bye, y'all.
Peace out. Wakanda forever.
Bitch.
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. We get it from my mama. Shake it, shake. We get it from my mama. We get it from my mama. You mad? You mad? You mad?